welcome to Eastenders Weekly Extra.
Yes.
We're here for a bonus episode to answer everyone's burning questions they've been emailing us.
Yeah, we've not had a lot of time in recent episodes for us to do any questions, even though we've been receiving them. So we thought to give them all justice, we'll do a special extra bonus episode.
Yeah, to cover it. So I've got a list of questions here to go through. We'll do our best to answer them as well as we can.
We'll try.
So we're starting off with a question from Dean. He says...
Hello, Dean.
Hello. Are the events that happened to Kat and Alfie in Redwater ever going to be explained? And what about Kat's son? Finding out she had another baby when she had Zoe all started on EastEnders, and now it seems like it was just ignored.
Ooh.
So remember that's how Kat and Alfie left originally.
Yes, for
when
this.
she met that nun, and she said, there was 2, baby.
Yes, and the mystery began. And so she went off to Ireland to find her son.
Yes. So Zoe had a twin, apparently.
Yes, and the series, because they only made one series of it, the spin-off, didn't they? With
They're saying now, they're like backtracking, saying it was only ever meant to be one series.
Well,
and they're like, when it originally came out, they were like, it's going to be multiple series.
Yeah, I don't think that they had planned for it to bomb quite as badly as it did.
It didn't do very well.
I mean, a spin-off of any series is always a dangerous ground to play on, isn't it?
And they like dressed Kat really weird as well. Like they made her look all like motherly, and she was in cardigans, and she had like long hair.
This is when they came into the money. They had the £1 million.
She doesn't look like, and Alfie had grey hair and stuff. And it's a little silly. So yeah, they haven't mentioned that, have they? Since even with Alfie coming back the other week with Hayley, nothing's been said.
Nothing was brought up at all. I mean, that's not to say that there's going to be 4, 5, 6 months down the line, the son will appear and he'll be like, all right, Mum. And then, you know...
Because as far as we know, he's still alive. Obviously, him and Kat both went into the sea. So Mo has mentioned that. She
did mention that. She because that's how Kat's introduction to the soap, or reintroduction to the soap, began, because we found out that Kat had faked her own death, or Mo had exaggerated that. But we always left at the end of Redwater that was the, it was almost like that was the cliffhanger. Did she survive? But
I mean, I'm guessing, hopefully they will introduce him to EastEnders. Maybe once Hayley settled in as a Slater and everything's settled down a bit with them owing money, could he maybe come in as like the next villain, do you think?
Well, like Sean Slater. It always has to be it's always the male.
Slater.
The male Slater. I think they're kind of testing, even though that the introduction of the Slaters to the soap was meant to be almost a throwback to the days of yore, when it was a very popular time for viewers. I still think that it was a very risky move then bringing back the Slaters, and I think the producers kind of did it just to see how it panned out. It worked out well, so now they've introduced Hayley, who proved to be quite a popular character. So I agree with you. I think that in time, I think Kat's son will be reintroduced too. I mean, there's potential.
Christmas villain.
It's always Christmas. It's always Christmas time when things come back in.
He'll turn up. But I think it'll be quite good for him to turn up. Or on the other hand, it could just be one of those things where, because it was so unpopular, they're just quietly not mentioning it.
But it was unpopular as a standalone drama series, as a soap story. Maybe it'd be a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean the trouble is, because it's started off on that soap, that's pretty hard to ignore. It's canon now. That's it.
That's true.
So I'd hope they do bring him into it.
A lot of Redwater, a lot of what happened in that series has been almost just put into the vault and wished to be forgotten. It's like if you close your eyes, put your fingers in your ears and say la la la.
It's like Alfie's brain tumour.
Yeah.
He's obviously suddenly better now.
They've almost rewritten, actually, what happened when they were away.
Yeah, they just went to Spain, apparently.
They went to Spain, and Kat had an affair with a Russian businessman, so that they've kind of written it off as that's what... Actually, there was all a dream, what happened in Ireland.
In the shower. She had too many cocktails one night in Spain and dreamt Redwater.
Yes. Oh, there you go. So that's your answer. She dreamt Redwater while she'd been drinking one night.
So, a short one. Get ready.
Okay.
This is from Rob Duncan, and he says...
Hello, Rob Duncan.
Is Dot Cotton coming back? Short and sweet.
Well, in some ways, is it Dot Cotton or the actress June Brown? Because in some ways, Dot Cotton never left.
Lives on.
She's sleeping. She's either at the
she's
church
done some visits to Ireland.
to see Dottie, or
She's done some praying.
She's,
She's flower arranging.
she's yeah, or yeah, she's just keeping her nose clean, isn't she? While all this Sonia, Martin, and Stacey stuff is happening.
Well, Sonia's the new Dot. While Dot's away, Sonia is taking.
Sonia
her role.
really has just taken the spirit of Dot into her, hasn't she?
But we know June Brown has signed a contract for a year.
Is it a year? I wasn't sure if it was a year or two.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So, assuming she's coming back.
I don't know. Would you think she'd be coming back with a story, or would she just be kind of like a background?
The trouble is, Sean O'Connor used her loads, didn't he? The producer before. He had her doing a lot of, not good stories, but he had her doing a lot of work, and she was appearing like all the time.
There was always something happening with her. She was always almost like what Masood is at the moment, the kind of B storyline, what's happening whilst everything else is happening.
She was having her eyesight issues.
Well, she had cataract.
Her driving. Cats.
The driving when
cat
she drove.
Storyline.
The cat. Everything at cat. So maybe she'll have a storyline with cats later.
Maybe.
She'll
Don't
start.
think she's ever had a storyline with Cats later, has she?
I don't think she did. Well, she must have done some things with the Slaters, I suppose. But yeah, she is coming back. We know she's coming back. It's just they've not really given any definitive answer to it. If any listeners to the UK knows that she did something recently, which was Celebrity Detox.
Yes.
Where she went off to a Greek island and
trying to be like 10 years younger in a month or something.
Yeah, by using cosmetic surgery and yoga, swimming,
eating.
But she wouldn't give up her cigarettes.
No.
She was smoking like a crate a day.
Yeah.
Like every time they interviewed her, like did a piece to camera, she'd be there with a cigarette in her hand. It was a great program.
I think at this point, if she stopped smoking, it would probably do her more harm than good.
But that's
they
what
do say that, don't they?
They said that. They said because she's been smoking. I think she said she's been smoking since she was like 10, and because she's been smoking for such a long time, if she quit now, her body would be in so much shock.
What are you doing?
Done.
But yeah, I mean, Dot is coming back.
Yes.
We just don't know in what form or what storyline.
As a spirit, as a cat.
With a wig on.
Yeah. Meow, Dot.
Yeah, we always enjoy a bit of Dot. As long as she's got a good storyline and purpose, we don't mind.
I've just got this image of a cat appearing with like rollers in the front of its, like on the top of its head.
She should come back with Dottie.
I would like
about
Dottie
a good
back.
age now.
As we've mentioned in a YouTube video, if you guys follow us on YouTube.
Good plug. So did you have a question?
Well, yes, I was going to say I've got a question here. It's from Sean Felton. He emailed this to us. Now, it's I hope you don't mind, Sean, but I've just cut it down a little bit, just so it's a little shorter. But here we go. It says, "Hi there, Eastenders Weekly podcast. I've got some massive Eastenders theories for you on the behalf of the identities of who Hayley Slater's parents could be. I wouldn't be surprised if Hayley Slater's mother is actually Martin Fowler's former stalker, Sarah Carnes. Both Sarah Carnes and Hayley Slater seem to have a very similar facial resemblance, despite of their hair colour. According to Sarah Carnes' backstory, she made it clear that she was married to a man called Tony. With Sarah Carnes' married surname also still a complete mystery, could it be possible at any chance that Tony is possibly Brian Slater's youngest brother, with Sarah later ending up getting Tony's child, Hayley Slater? Or saying that, when Sarah Carnes exited EastEnders, she hinted and made it quite clear that she was sexually assaulted. Not sure of Sarah Carnes' age or either Hayley Slater's age, but could it be possible that Sarah was possibly the second-rate victim of James Wilmot Brown back in 1994?
Oh, he's back. James Wilmot Brown.
Like a bad smell. I mean, well, he goes on to say, when Phil Mitchell went on the search for James Wilmot Brown in 1994, James's wife Elizabeth Wilmot Brown told Phil that James was sent back to prison for a second time for raping a mystery second woman off screen. When Sarah Carnes exited EastEnders, she made it quite clear that she was sexually assaulted. The theory is that Sarah Carnes was sexually assaulted by James Wilmot Brown off screen when she was married to Tony Slater. So let's stop there. There's more to this. There's a second theory. Let's stop there though. So that's the first question then. So is Sarah Carnes Hayley's mum? Some guys and girls might remember Sarah Carnes if you did watch it back in the early 2000s. She was a character that worked in Angie's Den when Sharon owned the club before it became the Phoenix.
Yeah. She was in it for like 3 months.
She wasn't in it very, very long, and she was only there for one story, and that was basically she became obsessed with Martin Fowler,
like everyone nowadays.
Well, no, he's the Lothario of the square, and it basically came to its head when he not kidnapped, he kind of imprisoned Martin and Sonia in a house, and then threatened to stab Sonia if she
it was
didn't.
Pauline's house, wasn't it?
Yeah, if she didn't get together.
And isn't
with
that
Martin.
how Pauline's fruit bowl got smashed?
It is. That's which upset Pauline. You
That's
know,
the only bit that she didn't like Sonia, did she?
she hated Sonia.
I mean, saying that she could be Hayley's mum. Obviously, Sean said something about Charlie Slater's brother,
Yes.
and that is who Jean was married to, and that's how Jean's a Slater.
It's Jean's ex-husband, and she had with Brian Slater. So it's Brian Slater's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's the bit that makes me think this could be true, because they've been doing lots of scenes of Hayley and Jean bonding. Like, remember those bits on the swings
yes
in the park, and they were talking about family and things.
Yeah.
So they must be putting those two characters together quite a lot for a reason.
Because she seems to be the most understanding and the most sympathetic toward Hayley. You're quite right. I mean, also, if you think about Hayley's introduction, she was quite similar the way that she was introduced as the
no one knew who she was. Yeah,
she seemed to be stalking Martin. She was taking photographs of them. We obviously know later on that Kat asked her to come along and keep an eye on him, but perhaps that's, again, we've talked about this before, maybe the writers are a bit more canny than we give them credit for, and this is a little secret hidden meaning that they were putting a little Easter egg in there for us.
Yeah, the only thing, I don't know if her mum would be Sarah Kahn's. Only because she was only in it for like a few months. I
mean, I did a bit of research, and Sarah, when she was in the soap in 2004, there was no mention made that she had a child during her time in the soap. Now, that's not to say that perhaps social services were looking after her, or Brian Slater's brother, Tony, was the sole parent at the time for Hayley. The Slaters were introduced earlier than when Sarah was introduced too. They were introduced in 2000. And again, when they were on screen, there was never any link with them together. So the Slaters never made any kind of indication that they knew Sarah Kahn or they recognised her in any way.
Yeah, I mean, the part saying that is Brian Slater's, it could be to do with that side, and maybe Tony had an affair. That I can imagine could be quite true, and that's why Hayley and Jean have this sort of bond.
And I think that actually also I really quite like the theory of that Sarah perhaps was the second rape victim of Wilmot Brown. She was 23 at the time of when the rape would have taken place.
Because that was mentioned when Kathy and Fee had their little heart-to-heart. Because Kathy said to her, "Oh, he's done it to other women as well," and that's what made Fee change her opinion on her dad. But whether they would try and bring back this character, I don't know how fondly Sarah is remembered in the EastEnders fandom.
No, that's what I mean.
That's the trouble.
And the way she was exited was that she kind of went off
to a mental institution.
It was a mental institution. It reminds me a little bit of Lisa when she came into the soap briefly recently. She went a bit nuts. I mean,
that was just written in like the last minute.
That was very shoehorned, wasn't it? I mean, that's not to say Sarah Kahn's can't be introduced into the soap.
I don't know what the actress is up to now, actually.
That could be a nice little section one day.
We can find out, because if she might be free to come back. I mean, they like bringing people back from ages ago. Maybe if Martin and Sonia ended up together and not Martin and Stacey again, because we weren't sure a few weeks ago whether they would get back together.
Oh right, I see. So Hayley,
that would make sense, because Stacey and Martin are back together again, and then to reintroduce Sarah would have been quite interesting.
And Sarah's still got that twinkle in her eye.
Or him being with Stacey, Martin and Stacey together, could cause a bit of a ruckus if they find out Hayley's mum is Martin's ex-stalker. So yeah, I mean, all these things they do is all those things that
they're
could
plausible.
Be,
there's no real big plot holes in there, no bigger than the Redwater. I mean,
what about the second half?
Well, I was going to say, Sean goes on to say that could it be possible, at any chance, that Hayley Slater and Jay Brown could well be secret twins due to Sarah Kahn's rape ordeal with James Wilmot Brown? We already know it was Max Branning who blackmailed Phil Mitchell into telling Jay Brown about Jace Dyer not being his biological father. Could the Wilmot Browns may have put Max up to it? The Wilmot Browns may know the secret truth about Jay's past, and my theory is that Jay and Hayley are twin brothers and sisters, and when they were born, Sarah put Jay up for adoption, with Sarah and Tony keeping Hayley and taking the Slater's name when she was born. Sarah gave Jay away to the Brown family, who Jay has, and always has believed to be the real family, right up until this very day. And then he signs off. So, the second question is Hayley related to Jay?
Well, now the trouble with this is that obviously Sean O'Connor had big plans to change Jay's background history, because they did that big like 2-part episode with just Jay and Phil, saying that wasn't his real dad. He gets fired. Along comes John York and rewrites it and says, because Phil, it was a really stupid like Phil saw Max and said, "Oh, I only said it because Max told me to."
Yes,
and it
he
was
said
like,
that
and it
Phil
was just
blackmailed.
unwritten in like 1 second.
Yeah.
So that's the trouble with that, is that possibly when Sean O'Connor was in charge, maybe that's what he had planned with James Wilmot Brown.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's what happened. Sadly, I mean, January 2018, it was revealed that Max had blackmailed Phil to lie, and then it was revealed that actually it was all made
It
up.
didn't make any sense.
And
at all.
Jace
So
Brown
stupid.
was still his father after all. But that doesn't mean to say that they can't unravel it again and start the ball rolling once more.
I mean, they're not doing much with Jay at the moment. He hasn't got a storyline. All his friends have left. So he does need something.
I mean, again, could this is just thinking of ideas they might do. Would a Hayley and Jay relationship storyline happen, and then perhaps they, I don't
find
know,
out their brother.
they find out they're related?
That happens quite a lot with siblings who don't know their siblings, and they meet
Exactly.
each other. They get together. It's like some weird like chemical thing that happens.
Yeah, what in real life, like
in real life,
Take a Break magazine type story.
No, yeah, in real life, that's
Yeah,
what happens.
yeah.
If two people meet each other, they don't know their brother and sister.
Right.
A lot of the time, they get a relationship. It's
Oh,
like a
wow.
weird like.
They've had that
chemical,
common link,
yeah.
and they know that the link's there.
Even though they don't know that they're related, so that could be. I mean,
so
that'd be quite a dark storyline.
Well, I know, but I tell you something. EastEnders seem to be going down their
the
dark routes recently.
Yeah.
They've done the stabbing story. They're doing the Stuart storyline at the moment as well. When he's the Catch a Predator.
I mean, the trouble is with getting James Wilmot Brown back involved. Like, I don't think they're going to bring him back in.
I don't
to
think
the
they'll
frames.
bring him
No,
back.
he's dead. But like even like
Well, we
that
don't know
story-
he's dead.
Yes, we do. He died of cancer in hospital.
No, because the last scene, him screaming. We've discussed this before.
Yeah, I
haven't
know.
we? Okay,
He
anyway.
is dead.
But
But anyway,
But
I just
Fee-
don't think there'll be.
I think they could bring Fee back. I think Fee's plausible. I don't.
And Josh to take revenge on Lauren.
Yeah, if they bring Josh back, I suspect they'll bring Lauren back. I know, exactly. So one comes with the other, I'm afraid. But Fee, certainly, I'd like to see Fee back as well, because I like.
She's even
Fee.
said recently, hasn't she, publicly, that I wouldn't mind coming back. Even though a few months ago she was like, her storyline's finished.
Yeah, it's finished. There's a line drawn into it. So yeah, so there you go. So the Hayley and Jay being related at the moment, they've written it that no, that's no way, because Jace is actually his father and they were wrong all along. So, but Sean, thank you ever so much for your email.
Yeah.
It was
a lot of
absolutely
work
fascinating.
gone into that.
Definitely a lot of work, and really the whole reason we're doing this bonus episode is because of this email. So thanks so much, Sean. Thanks a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
And keep sending them. Keep sending us emails.
Yeah.
Anyone can send us emails.
More questions.
EastendersWeekly@gmail.com.
So I've got a few more here. So we've got one from Randy.
Oh, Randy. Randy.
It's been rumoured for years that the entire set is being rebuilt. Is there any truth to that?
Now, see, I thought that they were planning to rebuild it. They put because
It's been a long time coming.
Well, with the structure of how the BBC works, because it's publicly funded. Here we go. Boring moment for a second. You can skip 1 minute if you like, if you don't want to hear this. Is that if they want to funds for for them to release to build a new studio or anything like that, they have to put it forward to a consortium of people. And as to my understanding, that they were told no, they weren't allowed to do that, and they had to carry on using the set that they've got. But since then, you've said that they are building a new set. Now,
it's like 35% bigger, isn't it?
Yes, but I think they're introducing more streets, because if you look back at the history of Albert Square, the original set that they used in the first, when they first started in '85, was just Albert Square, and then half of what you see now of Bridge Street, and they would have market stalls at the ends, like blocking it, so you couldn't see what's further down. Now there's George Street, there's the police station, there's the park, there's the allotment. They've expanded it out and out and out and out, and I think the studio facility can't quite cope with it. Plus, what's more, I think they want to build it so it's better for Super HD, because Super HD is on its way.
EastEnders set looks the worst out of all the soaps, maybe apart from Hollyoaks.
I mean, the EastEnders set looks tired, but at the same time, it's kind of, it works for the environment it's in. But the other problem is, and this is why they kind of did the James Wilmot Brown storyline, is that the East End in real life London is slowly becoming quite an up and coming area. It's being bought out by very rich people, and so the East End that you see in EastEnders isn't quite the true representation it used to be. So I think if they're gonna rebuild the set, I would hope they're gonna do like a big storyline where like
well, we all thought that's what the James Wilmot Brown was leading to, is them opening up the new set, 'cause they kept closing. They closed the laundrette and they closed loads of inside sets, didn't they?
I think you said before they used that to build the set for the Wilmot Brown offices. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, apparently what I've know is that it is being done. It's just obviously taking a long time, and they're also the because you can see the plans online of the new set outline. And I saw someone mention on there that it's it's rotated slightly.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So the tower block will no longer be seen in the background, which is why they were talking about Joyce and Ted moved out and Taylor's moved out. It's because they're just demolishing the tower block.
Yes, fictitiously, but in actual fact, it's because you won't be able to see it when they move the set.
But also, people said because it's at a different angle, the sunsets and sunrises are going to be all in different places now. So
I mean, that's
it's nothing you might not notice, but
but it's something they should have known. You know, you think they would have worked that one out.
And I remember reading that they were gonna build a mosque set, weren't they, and things like that. But I don't know. There's no sign of it yet.
I mean, are they building it in the existing studio? So they're building.
I'm not sure,
because again, that was something there was a time when they had parts of the set that were kind of blocked out, and you kind of didn't really know why they were blocked out, and then all of a sudden there was a new like house.
Yeah.
And so are they building around as they're filming?
Because we thought they were like doing it bit by bit, but I don't know. It's not.
But they can't be. I suppose they must be going somewhere different if they're turning the set round. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, I don't know. I don't know.
There'll be a new park.
Like that'd be nice, won't it? With a bigger pond.
New allotment.
New cafe 3.
Oh yeah, maybe. But yeah, new police station. They've already got that now. So
that's what I mean. They've already done the new police station and the outside of the police station.
Yeah.
What shop or thing? Do you reckon they'll? They won't, because they're not allowed to advertise on the BBC. But on other soaps, on other soaps, they've now introduced a Costa and a Co-op. What do you reckon they could introduce? A Tesco Express, Subway.
Keanu can work there.
Yeah. Can you imagine with the green hat and the green shirt? Like, what would you like? Pickles?
Yeah.
Lettuce?
So we've got one last question to finish up on, and it is from Caddy Lover.
Oh, hello, Caddy Lover.
One question for you. Where did the new car lot porter cabin come from? Drunken Phil destroyed it originally. That's when he was in his... That's another reason of when they were destroying sets. Yeah, that was the same period. He was drunk in that, like, 4x... Like that... What's it called? Those trucks. I thought he was in a forklift truck and he just drove into it.
Yeah.
And Louise was in there.
Oh, yeah, she was in the porter cabin, wasn't she? Yeah.
For some reason.
With the bin bags.
Phil destroyed it originally, with the land standing empty ever since. Jay still owns the land, and obviously we know now Max has popped up. Maximum Motors is there.
Shop.
No one really quite knows how Max afforded any of that, to be honest, because it's full of cars and office equipment.
Didn't he get a little payoff from the Wilmot Browns?
Well, he just spent it all on the business and didn't have any money for a house.
He wants a baby, doesn't he?
So, I mean, to be honest, I don't think we can answer this question, because I don't think the writers even thought of this. It just appeared overnight. Maximum Motors was there.
He did a pop-up shop, didn't he? And it was like a barbecue and the English flags and all that rubbish.
And I mean, that hasn't even appeared in like 4-5 weeks.
I mean, also, if a porter cabin was going to turn up, you think, there'd be like trucks and all kinds of things transporting it, and no one seemed to notice.
Overnight, it just turned up. I remember it leaked because there was a YouTube video of two people who they like break into places when it's closed at night time.
Oh yeah.
And they went around Wolford at night time and they were filming, and it showed Maximum Motors. So it leaked early that Max was coming back to that.
Oh right.
But it just appeared overnight, didn't it? Really.
It was I
don't think the writers remembered.
Again, it's one of those things you just have to suspend belief a little bit and just be like, oh, it's something Max bought. And
I mean, that whole Max Rainey storyline's just... None of it makes sense anyway. So,
but they've kind of called it off a little bit, haven't they? But it's back on the burner this week.
Soon. I've seen some pictures
this week. Yeah,
sadly.
But yes, no one knows.
No, that's our all caught up now. So that's all of our questions.
Lovely,
all caught up.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this little
bite-sized chunk of Q&A.
Extra weekly.
Yeah, extra weekly. As always, as we say, if you've got any questions or any comments or any theories or just want to say hello, you can tweet us at Eastenders Week. We also tweet live to Eastenders every episode, so you can follow us for that as well. Instagram is at Eastenders Weekly. We're on Facebook if you just search Eastenders Weekly. And you can also email us, eastendersweekly@gmail.com. And just to remind you guys that we have a poll of the week, so don't forget to check that out on Twitter and don't forget to vote too. Anyway, it's lovely having this little tete-a-tete.
All caught up on our emails now.
That's
in
right.
the office. Have a day off.
Oh, can we? Well, I might play my Switch. It'll be lovely.
Cool. Right. Well, till next time.
Yeah, have a lovely evening or day or morning.
Bye.
Bye-bye.